Welcome, everybody. We're here. Welcome to Crazy Pinfalls. We've got two new people making their debut. Going to be doing some streaming on the Facebook side of everything. Also, so that's broadcasting now, and we are now officially broadcasting on YouTube because I have it on that side because StreamYards is running on that. First things first, to get that out of the way, the channel's up. And I'm not talking about this one. The TV channel is officially up. The description in the below, click on it, subscribe. We don't have any videos up on it. The channel is called For You Guys. It is made specifically for you, not anybody controlling it. It's called Wicked Crazy Crew TV. And the reason being behind that is because of the fact that you guys we're just the people behind the chat. To quote what Anakin said, we're going to break the fourth wall here, right, Deadpool? That literally, it would be like me being there, being Tempest from Wrestle Talk, and just sitting there watching the chat, making sure everything's working while you do your show. So let's say Reed wants to do a show about Boston sports. Go at it, do it. If you want Ray Callahan to talk about stuff like about AEW and shit, why not? So long as it's in the means of the YouTube bylaws, that's fine. If eventually you decide to go away from the channel, you build up your audience and stuff, and you want to have, even though the channel, let's say, has 200 views, and you have, and the reports are showing you have streaming 60 people of those 200, it builds your audience up so that way it gives you the platform to move forward. It doesn't matter about monetization or monetize or whatever the frick it is. But
monetization.
Thank you. It gives you the platform to basically get your feet off, get comfortable in being in front of a freaking camera, and actually do it. So basically, what it is, it's basically taking the choke off the chokehold and literally letting you free. So, but click on the link. We're gonna get people on there and start doing content on that soon, hopefully by the end of the month. Anakin has agreed to do an NXT show, a review show, and hopefully, if I could convince him, maybe an Uno show once a week. And
I'd be down for that. I'd be down.
Maybe like a Uno YouTube game show kind of thing, and go from there. I am going to make a challenge because I don't know if he's watching or not. I do challenge Sean Ross Sapp to an Uno match with some stakes for a jersey. I am going to get my ass handed to me. But
maybe not, because he's been coming at Adam Blompier over at Phenomenerds with his board games. So the cards, I don't think he's going to be too on par with it.
No. Jeremy Lambert would probably be a better choice because he would actually want to play it with you.
Watch last night's stream. I did 2.5 hour stream of Uno last night, and I did it the exact same way up, down does. And I got my ass handed me by the AI. So
just wait. You're talking to somebody who watches every single episode of Up, Down, Uno. I will destroy you.
A good example of the new channel, John from Wrestling Plug Inc. If he wants to do a show, it gives you the opportunity. We give you the Streamlabs key card code, and you guys go. And you just keep that login information. Good example. I gave Rob my key card information for StreamYard to do the Match Memories Live, and he did it. So, I mean, it gives people ideas and stuff like that. Hell, I'll even challenge Jeremy Lambert, and even if Hannah's watching, Hannah, why not? Let's have a game show night where we play Uno, talk trash on the new channel, or on this channel, or on the Fightful channel. I don't care what channel. And let's see who could do this. Now,
Anna was on Twitch earlier. I just got her link and subscribed to her.
So, but the thing is that I already owe somebody a jersey in this panel, and he ain't getting another one. I'm sorry. No. It ain't gonna happen.
I may need to change it after what I learned about Patriots head coach that earlier this week. I may decide to change it. We'll see.
Oh, great! Here comes the Mission Boys on the.
Turn down the Medal of Honor from the Medal from Trump.
Right. I was like, ooh, it's like, although you know what, it's more for the player than the team, so I might still keep it. I haven't decided yet, but
yeah, he's a Michigan boy supporting a New England team. Yeah, we'll take that anyways. Let's get started.
What am I supposed to do when I've got a sucky football team?
You had Barry Sanders, but that's enough said.
He's got that. At least he knows how to come to a correct dynasty, and he didn't the Cowgirls.
Anyways, Bruins aside, considering Bruins play on Thursday, I saw the 2 documentaries WWE put out. I'm gonna talk about that briefly and see what you guys think. The Broken Skull session with Bayley was amazing. She talked about basically how she was never really close with Sasha, with the other 4 horsewomen, Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha, but she's more close with Sasha than the rest of them. Talking about how it seems like kind of like what I could put it as Brody and Eric Rowan, where they basically can go away for a while, mesh up, work together, and bounce back and forth. That session is a must watch. It's the first one having a female talent on there, and it's interesting to see the evolution of Bayley from when she was, just in the indie scene and moving all the way up. It is awesome to go from there. And then the sad one was actually the New Day podcast, talking about, John Hubert. So the one line that they talked about was the trip for Pensacola, where when they were driving back the 7 hours, they had to wait at 6 o'clock in the morning for the rental car company to open up at 8 to drop the car off. And Eric Rowan says, well, I have my ride on the way, I'm leaving. And all of a sudden opens the trunk and stuff. They lock the doors and Breeze is like, yeah, Harper said, no, you're not letting him in. And Rowan stood out there for about 45 minutes outside, jiggling the handle, trying to get back into the car. Like, they were talking about how great of a dad he was, his perspective. So everybody needs to go watch that. It's really, really heart-wrenching a little bit, but not heart-wrenching to the point where it's like, oh my God, it's like you're getting punched in the gut. It's like, it's very, very done well. It's basically like if me and Anakin were talking about my mom and I was sitting there talking about memories and stuff like that about it. It's that aspect. It's stories you didn't know. Like, I found out when my mom passed, her nickname was Chipmunk. I don't know if it's a Boston thing, but that's what my grandfather called her. So, but stuff like that. It's like you're talking about stories and stuff, and how like Kofi was talking about how their kids would play with each other and stuff. Like his son's now going into amateur wrestling because Brody Jr. is doing it and stuff. Kind of those stuff. So it is one of those things you have to watch. But I'm gonna ask Ray and Anakin, do we really have to talk about Raw tonight?
I mean, there's plenty of good wrestling events that have happened in the last week, so we don't have to. I mean,
isn't this like the 3rd or 4th week in a row that you've asked, do we really need to talk about Raw? I feel like this is becoming a recent trend.
It's more so because of the fact that Go ahead, Kev.
I just stopped watching it. I can't anymore. Smackdown is just so much better that if I got to choose between one, which quite often normally I do because wife needs some time, I'm passing on Raw. It doesn't make sense that it's the same people running it, but how can one be so much better at this point? It's ridiculous.
It's the difference between a 3-hour show and a 2-hour show. I mean, and that's something we've seen over and over and over again. When it's 2 hours, it is a thing where you have to pick and choose who you're going to have on and what you're going to do. When it's 3 hours, then you have more time to filler. But that being said, a year ago, Raw was the better show, and it really was.
NXT and then Raw.
1 year ago, Sean Sapp said the show that he was enjoying the most week to week every week was Raw. That was 1 year ago. Because remember, SmackDown, that was when you had Roman and Corbin doing their 1,000 match in their feud, leading up to the Falls Count Anywhere match at the Rumble, and that was after they had done the whole dog food angle. Meanwhile, Raw I had the stuff going on with Becky and Asuka, and really leading into that match, and just was better overall.
And Bobby Lashley and Lana and Rusev was the same time on Raw.
Hey,
so
I didn't say it was all good. I didn't say it was all good, but I didn't say
one key thing that everybody's forgetting. It's the Miz effect. Normally, whatever show Miz is on, with the exception of Raw right now, is normally the better show. The Miz is one that's always gone over in the drafts. And statistically proven, the better show normally has the Miz. Right now, shockingly, Raw is not the better show. The only good thing that came off Raw this week was Keith Lee sending Morrison into the buckle and it breaking. That was about it. Besides
that
Alexa,
was awesome.
But
for me, more
cool visual.
But for me, more so is that a year ago, NXT was the number one. You had Cole going into the longest reign in there. A lot of great feuds were built up. As a wrestling and a storyline, I was more invested into the NXT side. Once that they threw that Lana thing out there with Lashley, I was like, okay, I need to turn it off. And then you also forgot Anakin. Solely you forgot the vignettes for the Prophet, Viking Raiders. Who's better than anybody else?
That was later.
That's the transition to trash.
You said 1 year ago.
Yeah,
we are literally in beginning. That would be about 2020.
January.
Yeah, that's when those vignettes started creeping up.
Like April, right?
I thought those were a little bit later.
Yeah, that was later.
Well, I'm talking about
that's that transition time. Sarah got let go.
But still, the point of the matter is that that was pre-COVID.
Even if that was the case, yeah,
a little bit before COVID. But I'm saying just
I have to agree with Throwback. NXT, with the exception of now, for the last 2.5 years, and this is even with it being on the network exclusively at that point, still was better than Raw and SmackDown.
Well,
hands down.
About a year ago, they were on NXT was on TV, but it was still in that transitioning out of the network phase. Yeah, so it still had that momentum. Now, when we talk Raw and SmackDown, realistically, that's kind of a separated from NXT, just because, especially at that time, it was still transitioning out. But the 3 hour thing always gets used, and I understand 3 hours is a lot of time to fill. But when your roster is as deep as this roster is, 3 hours still shouldn't be that hard to fill with that many people. Now, yesterday's show, I will cut them a little bit of a break. They had a planned main event with Drew McIntyre, and then all of a sudden it's, hey, he has COVID. He's out. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of time. They botched the adjustment, and a lot of the other things that I don't know how much of it was affected by that, but the rest of the show was boringly lazy and it wasn't creative. So I do take a lot of issue with that, but I'll at least forgive
there was no Miz TV.
Someone's riding on Mrs. coattails and he's from Boston.
Yeah. But
Reed, you're awesome and all, dude, but still.
But like the thing is,
it just drags out and kills the flow of the show, whether it's the first thing, whether it's at the 9 o'clock or the 10 o'clock hour, it just kills the flow of the show. I've been saying this with Miss TV for a long time.
By the way, we are broadcasting live on Facebook, so if you're on the Facebook side of it and, share it, comment, and then try to get people to come over here. The more and more we share as a community, the great. But Miz is a bitch. Anyways, that's enough as it said. I mean, come on.
Now look, he has earned his spot on the roster, has worked his ass off. Yeah, he wrestles safe, but look, looking where he came from, me and my wife are currently watching old Challenge, just watched his last run. It is crazy to watch where that man has come from to what he's done with his career.
It's the same thing I pointed out last week, and Anakin even heard it, is that he's doing the same issues he did when he was back to New York. He'd get in trouble, turn around, and apologize all the time. And that's the way his character is currently in WWE. It's like he's repeating the same issues that he's had in the past, which is fine. You're showing that you've grown as a person. But as a wrestling character, dude, come on. And then you're complaining about, oh, I didn't get the money in the bank. It was not my fault. Morrison cashed it in, and it's a technicality.
Don't even get me started with the money in the bank, because he should have lost it square already. He should not have that briefcase in his hands.
When they did that, it made the money in the briefcase irrelevant completely. I
kind of like the swerve, but he shouldn't have it.
And I'll admit it. I've liked The Miz. There's been many a times, whether he's been heel or face recently, without Morrison.
Yeah.
I've liked him.
Yeah, Morrison.
I actually wanted to buy one of his shirts, and I have over 65 wrestling shirts between 5 major promotions.
Wow, I wonder how many shirts Hannah has at this point, because that would be interesting.
She did say that she had gotten rid of a lot of them after that wrestling shirt a day thing. But yeah, like Miz is best when he's got a title. Like when he had the Intercontinental title he was good. Title. He brought that IC title. He brought prestige to that title because he valued that title, and he said, I
will agree with you. And he did that on the IC title. But
he would go on talking
title he hasn't needed a title to be the perfect Miz heel or face character.
I don't think he doesn't need it, but it helps him. I mean, he was going on talking smack and saying how his title was the most prestigious title, not the WWE title, his title. He was the one who, when Brock first had the Universal title and would be gone for months at a time at Raw, he was a top champion on the Raw brand, and he was the one who was going there. Week after week.
Brock being gone, because I felt it actually brought more prestige to when Brock fought. You want to fight the big guy? You want the main title? It's not going to show up every week.
Right.
Let's make it a special event. That's what Brock does for titles, and that's the only reason why I like Brock.
But you can only do that for a certain length of time. When he, doing it from WrestleMania where he beat Goldberg to WrestleMania where he fought Roman, it was fine. It worked. But after that is when it started getting frustrating, because it's like, okay, well, you got this top title, which by the way, has already had trouble being established, because your inaugural champion had to relinquish it after 24 hours because he got hurt, and then Kevin Owens had it, who was the only one who had a decent run with it, and that run wasn't exactly the greatest. Then he drops it to Goldberg purely to drop it to Brock, who then disappears. I'm not saying Brock didn't have great matches with the Universal title, because that match with Joe he had at Great Balls of Fire was awesome. That SummerSlam Fatal 4-Way from SummerSlam 2017. Yeah, but you can't have the main 4-way. But you can't have the main title gone all the time, especially when it's a title that is having trouble getting itself established. When Brock did it with the WWE Championship in 2014 and 2015, it worked better.
It showed up at the Major 4, and then it showed up at 1 Extra, which was Great Balls of Fire that year against Joe.
Right,
and but that's the way that top title should be defended. It should not be defended on TV.
But it needs to be established.
I'll agree that on TV, but it should be at every pay-per-view.
It needs to be established. When he did it with the WWE title in 2014 to 2015, it worked.
Look at these two spitting fire. This is awesome.
It worked. It worked better when he took the title from John Cena, because that was a WWE title. It had been long established. It could afford to be gone for 2 to 3 months at a time and not being seen. This was the Universal Championship. Not even a year into it being a thing, it was already being gone.
Ray, can you be the voice of reasoning, please? Hey, I have to put both of you in a corner? Do I literally have to put you both in timeouts? Yeah, they're literally in corners, but I can put them off the studio for 2 seconds.
No, so I'll say this.
Forgive me. As far as cut anybody off.
No, I'm just saying you guys are spitting fire, which is awesome, but it's like literally it's heated. I'm like, okay, this needs to cool down a bit. I need like
I'm sitting there having fun because to me right now this is an educated wrestling conversation, and this is something that I don't get
but
to
I'm
enjoy.
giving you guys props at the same time, so sit back and relax and take it. As we say in Massachusetts, take it like a wicked champion, man.
So I'll say this: when they're trying to establish that universal title, Anakin's absolutely right in the sense that when you started that title with 24 hours later having to vacate it for an injury, that's a bad way to start a title. And then putting it on someone like Brock who isn't there that often, that still makes people then go, okay, do I really does this really matter? If he had just defended it at every pay-per-view, that's fine. But the issue is he would go pay-per-view to pay-per-view without even showing up at a Raw. Go ahead, don't wrestle Raws. I don't care. But at least be there to progress a story a little bit. And I was thinking about this on SmackDown. Roman
should at least show up to either one, move the storyline forward with the next challenger, or two, create some type of storyline going forward into the next time he decides he's going to wrestle for a bigger match.
Well, and what's kind of funny about this too is a couple of years ago when he was doing this, Roman's whole character was he doesn't ever show up, he doesn't ever fight. This is stupid. I thought about this on Friday watching SmackDown. Roman has essentially become what we wanted from Brock. He doesn't ever fight on SmackDown. He only fights title matches on pay-per-views. And other than that, he still shows up though, and he moves the story forward. But it is funny to me that he essentially became that character that he was complaining about. And so that, to me, that kind of signified that they are hitting this heel turn as good as they can possibly get it, because the things he didn't like, he is now doing. So
and that's the whole thing. I don't need to have your top champion wrestling on every TV show. I really don't need it. Make it be a special occasion when your top champion wrestles on TV or has to defend his title. That I am 100% fine with that because it makes sense to do that. But you need to at least have them showing up at pay-per-views on a regular basis, especially when it is a title that has had trouble getting established. And I can say, for me at least, Roman with a universal title now, this is the first time where I've really, truly felt like this title is super important. I didn't even feel that way when Seth won it from Brock at Mania. I didn't even feel it that way. Part of that was because right after Mania, he then decides he then starts feuding with Corbin over the title, and I don't need to see Corbin in the main event picture. I don't need
to see Corbin in the main event anymore. Period.
Yeah, no. Corbin is a mid-carder. He's an upper or mid-carder guy. If you want to once in a while throw him into a title match for a pay-per-view, that's fine. I don't need to see him month after month after month in it.
Teresa has a point. Brock's run did nothing to the title, and if you cannot do anything with the title, that's a problem. It really is, because Brock literally was just see no evil. He was basically see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Literally, he'd show up, walk around, destroy somebody, walk away. I mean, he got a payday for the Saudi show. I mean, and that was pretty much it.
I still don't even understand. Forgive me, Brock in Vince's eyes is God. Brock in my eyes, okay, you're Hercules. You ain't getting a higher payday than Taker. Screw that.
But the thing is, Roman is gold, and hell, I'll even admit it. I own a Roman shirt. I just got one, and I literally love the one I got. But it's just
I've got like 2 or 3 Roman ones, and one of them is the one when he came back from his leukemia with the orange
everything. Mine, the one I got is wreck everything and leave, which tends to happen.
I want that one.
I expect the orange ribbon when he came back from leukemia.
But what I think more so is that they should use this opportunity for Raw to build people, considering they're the third brand out of it. Hell, I'll even make it worse. And this is going to be controversial, and I really don't care. Raw is the 4th brand in the WWE. Because the NXT UK is a lot better.
Nobody watches it.
Nobody watches it. No, can't say that. Nobody
I love
watches
watching
it.
that every Thursday. Like,
Okay.
Thursday is my catch-up day after Wrestle Talk and whatnot from their Wednesday night reviews. Same with Going in Raw. The guys over there, Steven Larson. But OMG, I'm falling in love with wrestling like I was a little kid all over again with NXT UK.
I won't say that the show's not good, but like to put it on that level, like that's not genuine.
One match from NXT UK that actually got people's attention was Walter against Dragovich in the summer.
Dragunov.
People heard, or Dragunov, I'm sorry. Because
that was so freaking good.
Because people heard. Other than that, nobody's really watched NXT UK.
It's the thing with the NXT UK is the talent pool there is as good as NXT. The only difference is that the only difference between the two is SmackDown's right in the middle, which is great. And someone posted on the Fightful Talk last night on their Raw review, put Becky in there if she goes back. You don't need Becky, and freaking Raw needs it, and that's why
they're not coming back for a long time. All these people that I keep saying Rumble or Mania, I'm like, are you stupid? Do you not know the process of having a child? That destroys you. You need a lot of time.
Now I will say this because somebody tweeted this out to me. It was a screenshot of Becky's Twitter profile, and up in the spot where like before she would say for like location, and it would say like before when she was feuding with Ronda in Ronnie's head probably it does say getting back to work. So and that's been changed. I do think she started thinking about it, but you're right. I don't expect her at the Rumble. I'd be surprised if we see her before WrestleMania. And again,
SummerSlam, Survivor Series.
SummerSlam.
Well, and it all depends. If she's ready to come back in a couple of months, and they save her for that Raw after Mania, that would be a great time to do it. If she wants to take a little longer, she can. Physically, yes, it would probably sometime after Rumble would probably be the best time because then her body's had a chance to recover. She's had a chance to then start training and get back in shape. It all depends on what Rumble
should already be.
It'll only be like 2 months.
Yeah, just under 2 months.
Yeah,
so for her to come back to wrestling, no way.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt WWE trying to pull the trigger on her.
But that's her call, though. She's such a big star for that company.
Yeah, they're not going to rush her. She's their golden goose.
She became the #1 merch seller while she was the Raw Women's Champion. They are going to give her all the time she wants.
She can still push merch while she's out too. Like,
oh yeah.
Here's what I'll give you. I won't be surprised.
Merch numbers in a while.
There's baby onesies right now that say the boy, the girl. Those just came up since the baby was born. They're still making merch of her and pushing merch, and they keep doing that.
I won't be surprised.
The thing I'm going to say about this, considering the fact that there's still more we have to talk about, is that at the end of the day, if Becky does come back, Raw needs her. Rhea and Priest are going to be a good shot in it, but the way they're booking is, if anything, as Keith Lee is, it's not going to be as prevalent. Rhea maybe because you could go off of that whole Charlotte thing and create a feud with Charlotte.
If they wanted to make that make sense now, they can. But I'll say this to wrap up Becky. I won't be surprised if she returns at a Rumble, but it won't be until 2022. To me, that's realistic.
They actually have fans and she gets her pop. That I could actually get behind 100%.
She would definitely deserve it. Yeah. She definitely deserves to have fans give her that big pop when she comes back.
And most likely with the vaccines and stuff like that, it'll happen. But talking about old school stuff, I'm old enough to remember the old Boston Garden. Yes, I will be 40. But
wait, I'm not that much younger than you, throwback. You've only got me 4 years if you're about to be 40. I just turned November.
Yeah, well, I remember the old Garden, going to see Sergeant Slaughter and stuff. Yeah,
I remember seeing my first Bruins game, which was the last Bruins game at the Garden, and that was the Bruins versus the Hartford Whalers.
I have a Whalers jersey too.
Cool.
Teresa also said that Brie came back after 8 months, and Becky was totally different level than Brie was. But
Brie Bella is Brie Bella, who is never the greatest.
Yeah, and she wasn't ever a top tier talent.
Nikki was the Bella that got all the attention.
Tried to pull that trigger.
Yeah.
Hey, Teresa, if you want to give your opinion on here to come on the stream, you're more welcome to. But the thing about it is, at the end of the day, they need to use Raw as a stepping stone for what they did with SmackDown to develop talent. They used SmackDown originally in the 2000s to build Cena up, and then when Cena got so hot after winning the title, he got switched over to Raw. They need to go back to that formula, building stuff up, and they have one diamond of a gem that just broke a turnbuckle last night. So, other than that, SmackDown, Adam Pearson is your number one contender.
Don't sleep on Scrap Daddy. Come on. Let's not sleep on Scrap Daddy.
He's a five-time NWA champion. Respect on that man's name.
Yeah, but
go back and
middleweight champion. Like, let's not sleep on Scrap Daddy.
Yeah, but the last time he wrestled was 2014
with Hangman Page.
One match filler where honestly, I don't think he's even going to wrestle the match at the Rumble. He's going to pull. Oh no, I see him pulling out and putting in Kevin Owens.
No, I have a feeling, because if they're going to call Priest, if you want to give a good pop for Priest, just to get him going, I could see Pierce pulling in Priest out of nowhere, and then Priest does exactly what Kevin Owens did to Cena. Literally just hits Roman square in the jaw, has him down, and then literally Pierce is going to lose the title. This is regardless. But they could set up at the end of the match Priest coming in to give him another feud before Mania for the pay-per-view before that. That could be a possibility. That would be interesting, especially since, they both are very athletic and very gifted, and it'd be an awesome feud just to see Priest actually get that full tilt push on that. We were off straight for a second. Anyways, but Pierce as
I like the way you put that. But my one question to you at the moment: who do you see winning the Rumble, a Raw or SmackDown wrestler?
For men's or women's?
Men.
Well, it's obvious they're setting up Daniel Bryan, but if I had to pick a dark horse, and Anakin already knows who I'll say, I want the glorious one. Bask in my glory.
Never gonna happen. Oh, I thought you were talking about Bobby Roode for a second.
No,
I did too for a second. I did too.
No, but that's why I only asked which brand and not which wrestler, because as of wrestling, them building up TV. But I honestly think the winner, regardless of TV being built up, the winner was going to come for the men, was going to come off SmackDown this year. I didn't think it was going to come from Raw.
I would agree too.
I think more so.
Yeah, I would agree with SmackDown just for the simple fact that
I think for after last year with Drew, it's whoever has the most momentum going in. Everybody tends to forget after being a year. Now looking at hindsight, Drew was on a roll. He was hot, and he was the hot hand.
Mid-December, so by the time that the Rumble came up, it worked, and they're doing the same thing with Daniel Bryan. I've seen that report coming out of Sean, I believe, and who I heard it from exactly was Wrestle Talk.
I think more so this year's going to be full SmackDown, because I've said this in a tweet, I've said this in a super chat, and I've said this on this show. If the pattern stands packed in a 4-year span, all 4 horsewomen are going to win the Royal Rumble. If you told me 3 years ago that in 2022 you could predict even before the Rumble, a year before, who's going to win? You would tell me, oh, Throwback, you're nuts. You're crazy. Sasha is going to win the 2020 Rumble, 22 Rumble. Bayley doesn't have a title. It makes perfect sense because the pattern is so far has been established. You cannot feud the evidence of this as since I'm being a quote unquote a lawyer right now. The evidence has been set in this precedent. There's nobody on Raw that's hot. There's nobody who has had a greater year in the company on the women's side, and she is the PWI #1 women of 2020.
Right.
But nobody has had a hotter year than Bayley. So why not give the one thing that Bayley does not have in her career? Now, the pattern stands the same way. Becky got hot, even though she had the title and lost it to Asuka. She won the Rumble. Charlotte got hot at the right time. She won the Rumble. The pattern they've developed is the same way that's going. And everybody's like, well, you're crazy. Well,
okay,
think about it.
So I'll say this.
Go ahead, Ray.
There's a couple things here. First, I do think they have the people to do this. I think someone like Bianca, someone like Ripley, they could do it.
Thank you, Ray.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I don't get why they haven't pushed her better. But here's the thing. The Bayley Sasha story. Bayley. Here's the thing. The winner is going to pick one of the two titles. You don't have
something. There's
three. Okay, fair.
Yeah, but hold on. I thought they changed the wording to it. The winner gets to pick the title from their respective brand.
No, that's not how they did last year. That's how Flair went after
anymore.
No, Reed, it's all three. They pick the champion. No, they pick the of their choosing.
Yeah, because that's basically what happened with Flair to get to NXT in the first place. But Banks Bayley, you don't need Banks to win it to make that match still happen. The winner of the women's match can go after the Raw title, and then you got to do the other one. Banks Bayley is a match that you don't need to give Banks that rub to make that match still something that we go Banks Bayley WrestleMania. Yes, sign us up. What I would like to see, though, whether it's men's or women's, I don't care. I like this idea so much that I want this to happen. We're probably not getting any crowds. So you can finesse the tape a little bit. I would like to see, I think this is the perfect time to do this. We've seen them try to do ties before. This, to me, is the perfect environment to do a tie. Not for a triple threat, but so that the winners could go, why would we both go into the same match together? That's stupid. And again, WWE is not necessarily this smart, but both winners go, I want that title. Oh, I want that title. And you use it to get both title matches. I think that would be awesome.
You're saying, Paul,
I like that a lot, actually.
But this time, where there are the two separate titles, legit have them both split into both ways.
So if you wanted to do it with the women, you do Banks and Bianca, both tie finish. Banks goes, well, I want Bayley. And then Bianca goes, all right, well, I want the Raw title. There you go. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
It could be what they're talking about is Keith Lee in having Brock surprise as the third entry and having both tied. That's one thing they've been talking about. I like that idea, but I think if the pattern still says it's not going to be Sasha winning the Rumble.
I meant Bayley. Sorry. I meant Bayley.
But you have to admit that pattern, especially since WWE is the land of, Captain Obvious.
Sure.
They're going to stay with that. And then after they're done in 2022, then it's a toss-up. You could have Bianca win, and then the following year have Rhea win. But I would, if it was me running it after 2022, I would have Shayna win. Why not? She's getting there, and you need to give her the opportunity to do it. And it's something that's credible because they really, really want to pull that 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen trigger, especially if Ronda's coming back before her tail end of her contract.
I don't think we'll ever get it. I really don't. I would love to see it. I don't think we'll get it.
Well, we would have gotten it if we
I don't either.
Well, so here's a few things I want to point out to you, Throwback. One, Becky would not have won the Rumble if the Survivor Series match had happened. There's no way. If she had been able to have her match with Ronda, if she had been able, hold on. If she had been able to have her Survivor Series match with Ronda, she would not have won the Rumble. The reason she won the Rumble is because she physically could not face Ronda at Survivor Series because of Nia Jax. As soon as that match got called off, everybody was saying she needs to face Ronda at Mania. But the problem is they're on separate brands. So the one way you get Becky to face Ronda at Mania is you have Becky win the Rumble, and she decides to go for Ronda's title. That is why people were so sure at TLC 2018 Becky was going to drop the title there. They were so sure of it because it was the most logical way to get the title off of Becky without making her look weak, still protecting her, and then she enters on the Rumble. So that's why she won the 2019 Rumble. Last year's Rumble, remember, Shayna Baszler was supposed to win it. They made a change within like a day or two, and then
it was that afternoon.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That afternoon, I heard they made the change to Charlotte.
Yeah, Shayna was supposed to win that Rumble, and the only reason they made the change is because they thought Charlotte could help NXT with the ratings, which didn't work. It really didn't work. So,
well, the thing about it though is that even if they've changed everything, regardless, that it would be more smart because Bayley, as much as she doesn't have the title, she is still as hot.
Sure.
Right now,
but she also just came off this ridiculously long title reign. That's why she was PWI's #1 women. She had this ridiculously long title reign. Plus, she was a tag team champion at the same time for like 3 or 4 months.
Okay, so let Kevin get a couple of words because we've been predominantly letting him in, and especially since he's rocking that beard like crazy. Yeah. What do you think? Because you've been awfully quiet, and you have, like I said beforehand, you're a Long Islander. Long Islander people are not quiet.
So now, really. First and foremost, I am from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I'm just living in Long Island now. All right, I'm Philadelphia sports through and through. So I'm also not supposed to be quiet.
You have the rowdiest crowd in Philadelphia, and you're just sitting there like,
yeah, really.
I'm taking it. You have Michigan and Boston people. You gotta.
I like a lot of what everyone's saying. Look, all right. Here's the deal. I think Bayley should win it, but I don't think she should challenge Sasha. I think she should say, I don't want to be linked to her anymore and go after a different title and run her own show. I want to run this show. I don't want to keep being compared to her anymore.
I was going to say if it's not Sasha.
And then you have Bianca go after Banks.
I don't hate that, but I think the idea that those two, like, to not ever let them get that WrestleMania match, like two pioneers of women's wrestling current day, like they deserve that match. But yeah. I agree with you. That's a cool way for Bayley to heal it, to not do it this year. But yeah,
I think that if it's not Sasha and she does win, give me Io. They had that match they had in NXT. Let them go, and that would be insane.
The highest rated NXT show of the year, and it's at the highest rated segment of the year.
Yeah, and that would be insane just for them to do that.
Yeah, give me Io and a mop, and I'll watch it.
No, I'd be fine.
She's awesome.
So you want Io to face
Bayley would bring Rayley back going to NXT.
I'm gonna go on what you were saying, and I quote Sean Ross Sapp on this one. Bayley was on from August till she beat Bianca. That one match, 2 weeks ago, I think. She was on a straight losing streak from then till now. I can't see her winning the Rumble. She's not hot enough.
Yeah.
They'd have to basically have her win every week from here to
the Rumble match is something.
I see her going after one of the belts at the moment.
If it's not Sasha at WrestleMania, headlining WrestleMania in some way, shape, or form, I'm hoping it's Io, because the way everything is, it would be awesome to see that. By the way,
it would be.
That says enough as much as anything.
Ouch.
I just don't necessarily know that you'll see Io in there though, just because I mean she she is like she's on NXT. So
yeah,
but we also don't know if there's going to be any takeover or not at this moment. We have where you can assume it, but we don't know that for sure.
No, the takeover they already announced. That's Valentine's.
Yeah, it's on Valentine's Day.
That's right. They did. Yeah.
They already announced that. I don't think we're gonna get any more takeovers, big weekends, with the exception of maybe Mania. I think they want to start running their own schedule, which I wouldn't mind.
Speaking of NXT,
no, me either.
Finn Balor did exactly what he said. He broke O'Reilly's jaw.
Oh my God, that match! That match reminded me of a British strong style match. Boy,
I could watch those two wrestle forever, man. They're so good.
As hyped up as okay. I was like, did we just lose internet for a second?
No, that match was very good.
Sit there and watch O'Reilly. I remember O'Reilly in his singles run in ROH before they were the Red Dragon. Like, O'Reilly's always made my jaw drop. He's just
on there.
Well, Reed, now it's officially made it broken.
As a next generation ring general. Because he truly is going to be.
Literally, I just made a joke and it went over him. Yeah, I think StreamYard just dropped us for a second because everything's working fine. So all the power and stuff in my house is still going, so we're good. But I'm literally made a joke reading it as like you're like making your jaw drop with O'Reilly. I'm like, yeah, now he broke your jaw. It broke your jaw because of the fact that how far it dropped.
Honestly, let me say this now before we go any farther. Some of you I hear, but I am deaf in my left ear, so I haven't been able to catch anybody. So forgive me if I don't catch any of y'all directly commenting back, since there'll be 3 or 4 of us sometimes talking.
No, it's okay. But like I said, I think StreamYard's acting up again. It's been having problems here and there. We've seen on the Fightful streams and others. But overall, New Year's Evil was a really good show. A lot of great things.
Rhea and Raquel, just over and over again. Oh my God, that match was amazing.
Oh my God, they're so.
Like I know it's January 12th, but that match is already to me like in conversation for match of the year. That freaking ruled. Like,
stay out of my head. You're in Michigan. Awesome. I'm in. You can't stay. We're too far apart to be on the same way.
Now, are you counting just WWE matches, or are you counting like Wrestle Kingdom matches in there as well? Because I've got friends who are. Are you saying just for WWE match of the year?
Yes.
Or are you okay? I was about to say because if you're including like Wrestle Kingdom, you're gonna be coming after you.
Jay White and Ibushi. Yeah, Jay White and Ibushi's my guaranteed front runner from any promotion at the moment for match of the year. Sorry,
I just caught Wrestle Kingdom this weekend. Takagi and Cobb too. Woo! That match ruled.
That was a straight.
I finally signed up for New Japan World, so at some point I'm going to actually watch Wrestle Kingdom and check it out.
I got online? Anakin, you don't even have to get on New Japan World Fight. If you want the English commentary, go to Fight.
Except there, it's all you have to pay per event. And I want to be able to watch everything because I also want to be able to start watching it on a regular basis.
And again, Anakin is running his own show on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I just signed
up. I work Wednesdays, dude. What are you talking about? I work Wednesday night.
I'm talking about during the day.
Yeah, I just signed up for that on Friday. It was very, very good. I freaking loved it.
I'm using my cousin's account. He's in the military and he's over in Japan. And he knows I love my wrestling, so he sent me over. He's like, here's my info. Sign in and watch Wrestle Kingdom. I'll be one of the few white faces. I'm like, dude, shut up before I kick you.
But at the end of the day, it's Wrestle Kingdom was good. Staying up for 2 nights watching the watch-alongs was really hard.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I had to sleep. I get up at 5:30 in the morning for work.
Oh God!
What, Ray? You don't want to tell your students about the cool matches that you stayed up and watched at 5 o'clock in the morning?
No, I mean, I talk to them about the stuff when they're curious, but I mean, it's It's I can't stay up for that. So
yeah.
But the thing about it is that so far in the last week, wrestling has just been on fire. What I'm gonna do right now is for Reed and Kevin is to ask them to give their picks for the Rumble, for their winners for the men's and women's side. And then with a week of the Rumble, we'll have all of us come back again and do the full aspect of it on a review show when everybody decides to. Because, you know, I actually want to try to get the show done on time, and Anakin and Ray know it's been very difficult to do, considering Anakin's got me addicted to Uno. So if you guys want to right afterwards, I might be streaming on Uno after this. I don't know. But what do you think who is going to win the women's 2021 Rumble and the men's?
Women, my personal pick, the hell with the betting odds out of Vegas, because I'm not a betting man, even though I know my numbers. I'm going with Bianca Belair. If they don't do it with Bianca now, they're not going to do it, and she's just going to become another Dana Brooke in Flounder in a division that she can flourish in.
Men's.
And for the men, they're 6-7 years too late, but finally going to be Daniel Bryan, and I'm going to be as happy as a kid on Christmas. Honestly,
I was waiting for a Boston reference because we always go for a Boston reference somehow.
I tried, but I'm like, I can't think of one off the top of my head on this one.
To quote a line, considering last year they did a storyline with piss, it'd be a wicked pisser of a market going into Faneuil Hall, getting a fucking Cheers a freaking beer, and then walking out and going to the fence.
Let's not ever bring that up again, please. Let's just not.
No, if this past SummerSlam was to happen and it taking place here in Boston, I got friends that work the indie scenes, and they're friends with some of the WWE guys. We were going to take all the WWE guys out for a bar crawl of Boston after Raw Monday night.
I was supposed to hang out with Sean if it came around that way. I
was hoping, because if that had happened, I definitely would have told y'all to let me know, and I would have met up with y'all. Because here's a funny thing. I went to high school with Sasha.
Yeah, guess what? She wrestled over here at the Polish club.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
But no, we
were
were
at the little spinner stadium, and I worked there.
She was a freshman when I was a junior.
Wow.
She's actually got a quite brain on her shoulders, so I'm happy to see her come the long way she's come.
But Kevin, being from a transplant, what are your picks, man?
So I'd love to see Bianca. I wouldn't be surprised by Bayley, but I got to go with Bianca too. I mean, she just gets it. Everything she does. I don't think she'd find her like Dana if she doesn't, because she has that extra factor I don't see with Dana Brooke. She's working hard. Dana Brooke's work has improved so much. I enjoy watching her in the ring now. Mm-hmm. But there's something about Bianca that just tells me they can try to drive her into the ground, but it's going to be just like Becky. All the fans are just going to start backing her again. And all of a sudden, they're not going to be able to deny it. Same with Daniel Bryan. Eventually, they aren't going to be able to deny how good she is.
In a couple of weeks, we'll bring you guys back during when everybody's schedule is flexible, and be able to do this. It might be able to do 2 review shows, and the scary part is Anakin might be hosting one, which that is going to be in a conversation while we do Uno, by the way. Check it out. Friday, we're going to be doing Uno. It's going to be fun, and we're going to be, and I just figured to do this. We will be broadcasting live on Facebook playing Uno because, well, look what I'm doing on this laptop over here, but that little beauty over here. Mm-hmm. So Ray and Anakin can hold on their stuff because literally we'll get into depth in the matches and stuff when we do it. I'm excited for SmackDown though. Tomorrow night and in NXT, I'm excited to see what the fallout is, because if you're bringing Priest up, have to go with the TikTok crosses on the clock, man. You're gonna have to pull that trigger.
Dark Horse men's Royal Rumble.
I'll
horse
even
pick for the men's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's someone even pointed this out for the Rumble. It would be if with no crowds, this would probably make perfect sense. Why not an NXT talent? Why not? Even if you could
perfect introduction to them,
have
a new person in the main event right away.
Have Cole and Bryan go with Ray's suggestion. Have Cole and Bryan basically flip over at the same time, touch at the same time. Give Cole the opportunity or somebody in NXT to do it, and then go from there. I mean, you could bring Cole to the main roster, have Undisputed Era come.
No.
Let me. Hey, let me finish.
Okay.
Let him finish.
Have them come up like they did with Black, Ricochet, Ciampa, and Gargano. Keep them in NXT, but bring them up for WrestleMania to have Cole's back, and then just literally put them back in NXT. And Cole could brag saying, I was the longest reigning NXT champion. I was the only NXT Royal Rumble winner. And after a while, give somebody else from SmackDown and Raw a chance, and then do this again a couple of years down the road. Because Cole, right now, other than Gargano and Ciampa, is the most likely person you could have to actually win a Rumble with the gravitas that they have and the affinity they have for Cole. That would be a dark horse pick. That would make sense of a pick because you want your top guy who's not your champion, that's done it all, to do it. And they want to keep Ciampa. They want to rate him, but he doesn't want to go. Gargano, Johnny's a lunatic. And literally, who do you have that's done everything on that roster, has built everything up, and now you're building up the rest of their stablemates? To me, it makes more sense if they're going to pull the trigger on NXT. You put Cole, bring Undisputed up to do the Ciampa, Ricochet, Aleister Black, and stuff like that. Hell, I'll even say with the person I just said, I wouldn't be surprised if they come out of nowhere and bring Aleister back at the Rumble.
I would love that. I love Aleister Black. I'm going to back you up with a modification.
And also,
but
just think about Undisputed Era versus Hurt Business.
That's what I was just going to say, is bring Cole up
that match.
With Undisputed Era. You have a stable of 4 versus 4. Let Cole go get the title, and then Bobby Lashley goes, that tiny little dude, that's mine.
Getting hurt.
So first things first, because we're literally hitting the top of the hour, I want to say thank you for the first time for being on here. Boston's boy, the King Reed, and we've got the first time ever, even though you're always welcome here, both of you. Ray already knows because Ray's obviously becoming now a staple of the show. I don't have to say Anakin because he's the Darth Vader of the show.
Anakin's
the thing is,
and I am the light.
It's one of those things
Ray,
that you guys are always welcome here. You guys are always welcome to be on the show. I mean, even if we're going to talk about Boston sports or against Michigan sports, why not? It'd be fun. But Michigan, I also
that'd be a nice combo because the only thing good coming out of Michigan is college, and they're not even that good right now.
But right now, I'm looking at the list of people that popped on the Facebook: Kelly and Roger, Sarah DeCorpo, everybody on the Facebook page that's popped in on the Facebook. I want to say thank you, Danny, Yoshi. A lot of people that are just popped on to say hi. Kelly, Roger, and Sarah, they're really good people. And I'm just grateful they popped in onto the Facebook chat and there and just watching. In the future, we are going to be doing in the new channel some sports related stuff. I've talked to Rob about it. He wants to do some sports stuff. So eventually what the whole plan is that we're going to end up doing more. Other than that, we've got some great things down the pike. We're going to start with everybody because I'd actually want to stop around 10 o'clock for once, not 9 o'clock. I'm sorry, I'm getting exhausted.
I was about to say I can't stay till 10.
Since he's got to jet out quick because he's got to go to work. Anakin, tell him where they can find it.
Follow me on Twitter at AnakinJMT. Also, I'm on the Mr. Warren Hayes Discord, so go ahead and join us. I need more people to back me up on Iconics versus TJ, because we've got TJ fans over there who are trying to say that they're a better team than Iconics ever were. I'm fighting a losing battle. I need more Iconics. What's that?
They're correct.
No, Iconics have won titles and TJ has it. We'll see.
Brother.
I can't
We'll see if Ty
Iconics
wins tomorrow. We'll see if Ty wins the NWA title from tomorrow.
Right now is perfect, but I couldn't see them together. No, throw them away.
Billy Kay is amazing right now.
She's very good. I do like her.
What I'm going to say is Friday we will be doing after I get out of work, hopefully around 7 for maybe a couple hours before the Fightful review. I'm gonna have watching like I did yesterday Smackdown on the TV while I'm doing it. I'm gonna invite anybody that wants to join us. If you download Steam and download Uno, we could have at least 5 people on besides me 4. At the same. Well, 4. Oh, no, 6. On StreamYard, it'll be 6.
Oh, I get
it. So you and me, it'll be 4.
4 playing, yeah.
So we could have 2 people playing against me and Anakin, but we could also have 2 more people commentary making fun of us. Anybody on the Facebook side, Ray, you could pop in too if you want to play.
If you get Uno, get the Ultimate Edition that has all the decks.
I am challenging people who know me. Just go on your computer, download Steam, download Uno and stuff, go through all the setups. I would be interested to see if I could challenge people who know me outside of the community and know me personally and see how that goes. Reed, tell them where they can find you.
There's legit 2 places you can find me on Twitter, which is King Rozzy, KINGROZZI. Do not use an S. You do not use S's around these parts. We use Z's.
Or a pa.
And you can find me Patakan Harvard Yard.
Yeah, try saying that when you have people living in Georgia.
Dude, I lived in Tennessee, I lived in Cali, and I've lived in Florida. Cali and Tennessee, everybody wanted me to speak, and I'm like, no, leave me alone. I came out here to get away from you people.
Kevin, tell them where they can find you, man. And by the way, congratulations. I wanted to tell you that.
Thank you. Yeah, I have my first kid May 26th this year.
Nice.
Congrats. My Twitter is Evans_Temple. Thank you. Yeah, Twitter's at Kevins_Temple, same as the display name. Mostly just tweet about wrestling and banter about Denise with Sean.
Yeah,
that's over there.
These 2, Reed and Kevin, we're going to be on. I'm an open invitation. You guys can be on anytime. You can even pop in. Just hit me up. The new channel. I'm going to try to work on getting more people to do sports. Hell, I'll even challenge people on the Facebook side, and I'll challenge that in a second. But I feel like I'm looking at the Bludgeon Brothers right now, one right next to me and one in the corner. But Ray, tell them where they can find you.
So I'll take that as a compliment. Rest in peace, Mr. Brody.
Yeah, me too.
You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter, more so on Twitter, at AngryBeaver1127. It's right there when the names pop back up. So yeah, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. Again, Twitter's really where I get into the wrestling stuff. Instagram, I hardly ever use it. I get wrestling stuff, I get sports stuff, I get political sometimes. So it is what it is. I do prediction shows for pay-per-views every once in a while. I dropped one today for Impact's Hard to Kill show that's this weekend. So if you give that a watch and a thumbs up, I'd appreciate that too. So we're going to end up switching over to Twitch in a while. But this is a challenge.
I think I'm one of few Boston fans that is not the biggest hockey fan.
I'm watching. I have my jersey on. I'm happy. I got my Bruins one. So this is the challenge.
I'm too old school with hockey. Give me back the fights.
So this is the challenge. my ex-wife's family are huge sports fans, right? Here's the challenge. I challenge Ray, Matt DeCorpo, not Ray, Roger, and that entire family to come on the new channel. Open challenge, can anytime, and we'll do a fantasy draft. I want to get a fantasy draft going for football next year. Get a bunch of people on Yahoo, do it live on stream. But if any of those people that know me that want to do their own sports show, Roger, Matt, anybody, Mark, any of those people that know me in my past, new channel's yours. Take the show and run with it. Reed, you're more welcome to have your own, and everybody else. That's the reason why the new channel's made. So we're 5 minutes over. Anakin's got to go.
Yeah.
So do a good deed, pay it forward. You guys hit the script, hit the like button. Just go on that link for on the YouTube channel on there. Subscribe. We're going to start putting content more on a regular basis. It's going to be daily at times. Like if Ray has a minute, I'll have to talk to him about that. Other than that, do a good deed, pay it forward. Check out Sisters Custom Designs and the Facebook link. Go to Fightful. Check out their Twitch right afterwards. Yeah, anybody's welcome on that new channel. Anybody who wants to do sports or anything like that, hell, I'll even implore Crystal, my ex-girlfriend, to do cricketing and teach it. If you want to do something, it's your channel to do it on. And we're just going to be sitting there monitoring everything. Other than that, just have a good night. And remember, everybody lives day to day. Everybody has a good life. Tomorrow's not given. Today's a gift. You just got to pay it for it.